Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining the seminar, and I hope that you can all hear me. I'm going to try to project, but for those of you in the back, if you can't hear me, just raise your hand a little bit. Um, I'm here to talk a little bit about junior boarding school, which is an unusual and a unique subset of boarding schools in the United States. So junior boarding schools, and I'm sorry, I'm right in your lap. I apologize. We are schools that serve students that are in middle school ages. So our programs typically are through grade 9 at our schools. There are 10 or 11 junior boarding schools. These are some of the junior boarding schools that are in our area in the U.S. and the East Coast part of the United States. Junior boarding schools are both, there are some that are coeducational and there are some that are all boys. There are no all girls junior boarding schools right now. And our schools serve elementary years and middle school age years. They vary from school to school. And what is really special about junior boarding schools is that our faculty and staff are really dedicated. They are experienced educators focused primarily on middle schoolers. Middle school is tough, not an easy time. And that it takes really, I think, the right educator focused on the middle school ages to provide an environment for our students. And we at junior boarding schools, that is our focus. So why consider junior boarding school? Many of you that came today may be coming to look at secondary school and that you're planning ahead and thinking about maybe high school ages to think about it. But if you have a child who is maybe in 4th or 5th grade and you're thinking about what is this junior boarding school, it is a wonderful opportunity to help prepare for that secondary school. So some of the reasons why families start to think about this and students think about junior boarding school is really what we offer is the opportunity for students to have almost a mini boarding school experience because we offer so many of the same things that our secondary high school programs offer, but with more support. And at the junior boarding school level, what we are focused in on is providing opportunities for students to discover things that they like. So students right now might have an interest in soccer. Maybe they play the trombone. Maybe that they're interested in theater and drama. And maybe are able to do some of these things at their school, but maybe haven't necessarily had an opportunity to do so many things. One of the best parts about boarding school, both at junior level and secondary school, all of these activities are at our schools. So you're able to fit in almost more things during the day and on weekends to be involved with. I think it is really important at this age group. There's also the social and emotional development that students are going through in our parts of our community is really dedicated to that social emotional learning and making sure that students understand, and at Bement specifically, who you are as a person, and that character building as they gain independence and self-confidence is part of our curriculum and built into our program. I think the number one reason why families think about junior boarding school and students do, it is the overall preparation for secondary school. Our students who are at a junior boarding school level are well prepared for secondary school. They have what I would say in English, the vernacular is a leg up. They're ahead of their peers because our students who attend junior boarding school have the experience of understanding what a boarding school community is like and what the expectations of them are to be a part of that secondary school community. So it really gives students that chance to almost expand the number of opportunities in schools that they're looking for. And our students, when they get to the secondary schools, because our students are desired, the secondary schools love students and kids from junior boarding because they know what it's like to be in the dorm. They know what it's like to have study hall. They know what it's like to be responsible for their academic programming and their making sure they've got all the things that they need. They learn all of those things in an environment where there's a little bit more support. So when they get to secondary school, they're ready to fly. So how to best prepare for study in the U.S. You know, it is never too early to start thinking about boarding school. And today is a great example. This is a wonderful opportunity to gather information. I know for the students here, it might feel a little bit overwhelming, but after today, just sort of take time to look through brochures and go onto websites and then step back and say, I need a little break from this. And then go back and look at the information again and watch the videos on our websites and look at the pictures and think about what is really important to you. What do you love to do? Whether it is, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's fencing, maybe it is having a chance to really participate in like a math club, whatever it might be. Those are things, think about what's important to you, and you want to start to look at schools that are going to not only have those things available for you, but new things that you never even thought that you would be interested in. So when there's programs that are of different activities, you say, oh, well, I don't do that. You might not now, but you might in a year or two, because at junior boarding school, we want to open doors for students to explore and discover new interests and new passions. I think it's something to also think about, are you ready and is your child ready? Sometimes it is the student and their child who is more excited about this than you are. And you had in your mind, you were thinking about boarding school for maybe 9th grade or 10th grade, and now suddenly your child is like, I think I want to go. And as parents, you have to think about making that opportunity and this wonderful gift available for your child. Sometimes the parents think this is a great idea, and the child is like, I'm not so sure I'm ready for boarding school. So it is a conversation together and to talk about this. And I'm going to talk a little bit about one way to maybe test the readiness in a few moments about junior boarding school and it being ready. So one of the things to also help your student do is someone asked today of like, what do we need to do to get ready for boarding school or even junior boarding school? And one thing that I will say is so important at all of our schools is that if your child loves to read, great, encourage that. If they don't like to read so much, figure out what things they like and read anything on that topic. Reading is such an important part of what we do in our schools because we're spending lots of time in discussions. All of our schools are going to have very different styles, but at Bement, we're not a lecture-based. There are some classes where there's lecture, but there's lots of discussion. There's group work, project-based work, and times where students are going to be working together and really analyzing things. And that reading and that curiosity and that thirst for knowledge is really, really important. Creative writing. That is a great thing to do. If you're looking for an academic enrichment program for students to do before they come to the United States, creative writing. I would recommend that highly. And then extracurriculars. And we're not looking for one thing at our schools. We know that students at the middle school level may have had an opportunity to participate in a sport or an after-school activity, but maybe not. Maybe the schedule is challenging. You have more than one child for family. The school activities, there may only be a certain number of things available. We don't expect students to come to our junior boarding school with a resume of things that they are involved in. What we want to see is students that are excited about trying some new activities and participate in things. But these are some things to think about when you're thinking about what kinds of activities should a child get involved in. The most important thing is encourage the activities that your child likes to do. Parents often will say, I think this would be great for you to do. Let's sign you up for this. If they don't love it, it won't work. So find the activities that the students love to do and they find their passion in those areas. And then it is thinking about matching the interests that your child has with the different opportunities that your child might have at a future school. Make sure there's 1 or 2 or 3 things that their child is interested in that the schools offer at the different schools. And if you've already walked around, you will learn and see that our schools have many things that we all have, but there's also very specific. I was just speaking with someone whose daughter is a competitive horseback rider. There's not many schools that have that. Fencing, there's not many schools that have that. But so find those schools that match the interest that you have, that your child has. And then the last question is this is something we ask in interviews often. And try to find out of how your child uses unplanned and unstructured time. This generation of students, it's harder to do. And we ask you to think about that, of allow your child that opportunity and that time to figure out how to spend some time that is independent on their own, that isn't necessarily on their phone, outside of technology, but is also not necessarily an organized sport or activity within their school or in an after-school program. So think about that question about how your child uses unstructured time. If you're not quite ready for this, a great way, and I mentioned something that it can help families think about, is in knowing if this is the right time to go to boarding school. Again, whether it's junior boarding school or if it is secondary school, a summer program is a wonderful opportunity. There's sports programs, there's academic programs, there's STEM programs, there's arts, performing arts, different programs. There's so many offered at boarding schools in the United States that you can get a taste of what boarding school life is like. So you can spend time in the dormitories, spend time in their classrooms and in the athletic fields. It is a great way for 2 to 3 to 4 weeks to spend doing an enrichment, learning a new skill, but having that experience of living away from home for the first time, experiencing homesickness, experiencing how to remember to pack your backpack for the day of what you need to bring for your class or your activity. Those experiences are good extra step or test almost to help you determine if is this the right time to be ready. Most of the time, I have seen students who are a little bit nervous about boarding school go to a summer program for 3 weeks. That first week is a little bit hard. By the end of the program, they are like, I don't want to leave. They've made great friends, great connections, and the comfort level of being on a school campus not only makes them feel excited about what school that they're going to go to, but it is really helpful because there's going to be transition. Every student has transitions to boarding school. Some, it might be just getting used to the academic schedule. Some, it might be getting used to the expectation and the level of expectations of them. For some, it may be just staying organized and, having everything that they need to be successful during the day. That experience of doing a summer program is a reminder to them that, yeah, it was hard the first couple of days, but I got through it and I did really well and I had a great time. I know it's going to be okay in boarding school. I listed up here, but a number of the junior boarding schools have a variety of different programming, and many of the schools that are here today, the secondary schools also have summer programs, and I encourage you to look at that. So what do we look for in our applicants? And this is just a little advice. I think it's both for secondary school and for junior boarding. It's okay to be reluctant. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be on that roller coaster of I'm excited to do this and I'm not so sure. That is okay. We expect that in our conversations with students. If, as parents, you feel the need to relocate to the area and you think, I might move to the town and have my child go to school, maybe as a day student and we're going to live nearby, or maybe as a boarding student and we're going to live nearby, I would suggest that you and your child are not quite ready for boarding school, because the point of boarding school and what we provide for our students is the opportunity to live independently with their peers in a learn and live in an environment. And it is really hard for them to have that experience knowing that mom or dad is in town and they want to go there on the weekend. So I give you a little pause sometimes when parents say, well, we'll just move to the area just in case he needs me or she needs me and I can be there, that support. you're not ready, they're not ready, or they're not ready. Trust in, and I think you will. If you think about what's really important to you as a family and what you value as a family, if it matches with what the core values are of a school, you'll know that it's okay to trust that environment and that you feel good about that. We look for students who can identify why they like our school. I always ask students, why do you think you would like to come to Bement? So you want to make sure you do a little bit of research about why this might be a school that would be a good fit for them. And we just look for schools who like school. It doesn't mean you have to like school every day, but that you generally like learning and that you're curious and you're excited to learn more and to be involved and participate in our school communities. Our communities only work because our students and our faculty are engaged in everything that we do each day. So I want to tell you a little bit about my school. Bement School is one of the co-educational junior boarding schools. We are a small school of 225 students with 45 boarding students, 47 actually. And we are located in Massachusetts. We're in a town called Deerfield. It's very rural, but we are close to several areas where there's college towns near us. We're about 3 hours from New York City and 2 hours from Boston. We do have students that come to us from several different countries, both as boarding students and day students. You may look at that number and say 45 boarding students, that's really small, particularly as you're talking to some of these schools. And that it is. We are small, and it's small by design because we really want to provide an environment that is like a family. That is, again, at the middle school age, 7th grade, 8th grade, really helping students with their time management and their independent skills. We want to be able to provide the kind of supervision, care, love. We become your child's second family, and we feel we do that best by being a small environment with 45 boarders. We're known to have a strong academic preparation and program for our students. We are a competitive school, and we are a school that has competitive admissions to get into our school, but also once they are there. Our students have to work hard at Bement, but there's also great support for our students that may do really well in some areas and may need a little support in other areas as well. If you talk to anyone who has sent their child to Bement, what they love about our school is the sense of community and the sense of family. We truly are a really close-knit environment where our students are well cared for. We have daily fine arts every day. Every student's in a play every year. Every student is in band or orchestra or chorus. These aren't negotiable. These are required things that everybody is involved in. And I often will have students who will say, like, oh, I'm not really good at drawing. I don't know if I want to do art. And I'll be like, that's okay, but you're going to do art. And you may try, you might like sculpture and you might like painting, but we're going to give you a chance to participate in all of those things. We also, sports. We feel it's really important to have time every day doing athletics. And students have a choice each season to participate in a different activity. We pretty much have everything except no ice hockey, no wrestling, and no football. We have soccer, but no American football. And we are about 30 minutes from a ski mountain. And every Friday in the winter, students have a half day. So they go to classes in the morning and the afternoon is skiing and snowboarding. Lessons are included. And then, I apologize that my slide is not great, but come to my table and the rest of that information I can provide for you. But one of the important things, certainly, as I said, why you come to junior boarding school is that preparation for secondary school. And we help students in that process of once you apply to us, we're going to help those families and those students with that secondary school application process, really starting in 8th grade. And we have a dedicated person who advises the parents. If you're here in Singapore, that is okay. We do weekly Zoom calls with families to help with the process and bring the students. If you're not able to come and travel with them for their school interviews, we're helping them and bringing them. We probably bring about 40 independent secondary schools to our campus in the fall, another 80 in the spring. for those admissions officers to meet directly with our students and to get to know them. And then our students go on to a wide range of schools. We have a graduate in the back there who's now living here in Singapore. But it is what we really feel is important is we're looking at students to come to Bement and finding the right match. We're also helping and making sure that students are finding the right match once they leave Bement and going to their secondary school. So this is my office, and feel free to contact us with any information or any questions that you might have. And we might have like 2 minutes for questions or 3 minutes for questions. So are there any questions that I can answer for folks about junior boarding or about Bement? I know I just sent a lot of information at you very quickly of that. So, yeah. Oh, so that's a great question. He was asking sort of about the admissions process, and we do require the SSAT for our students to take as part of the admissions process. If you are not at an international school, or if you've not been in an environment for school where English has been the predominant language, then students would be required to take TOEFL, but only if they're not at an international school. And if English is not your first language, so yeah. Great. Any other questions? Please, I'm available at, I'm in the sort of far corner. I'd be happy to answer any other specific questions about Bement. There are several other junior boarding schools that are here today. Indian Mountain School, the Cardigan Mountain School, Hillside, and Rumsey Hall. I think those are the ones that are here today. So feel free to visit our tables to learn more about our individual schools, but also junior boarding school as well. Thank you so much for coming today to our event, but also for this session. Thank you.